welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for Health Talks with Dr. Trinh. The one show, maybe the only show, to show you a path to a healthier life. Hard to say this morning here. One conversation at a time, and what a conversation we're going to have today. I'm not sure I'm really ready for this one here. Dr. Trinh, bring us in. Who did you bring with you today?
Yeah, I brought a special guest today. His name is Dr. Martinez, Dr. Zach Martinez. And so, I just wanted to bring him in. We want him to share his thoughts about the issues we have going on with the world today.
Now, wait a second. I see a little kid on the thing. I don't see Dr. Martinez. When does he come in?
Well, like you say, age doesn't matter.
I said that.
Age is just a number these days, right? Whether you're 90 or whether you're 10, it really doesn't matter. It's just a number. So the wisdom that comes out of Dr. Martinez is way beyond his age and his years. And so we wanted him to share that with
All right, Dr. Martinez, introduce yourself. Who are you and how do you call yourself a doctor at age 10?
Well, I've been into exam rooms before. I've used equipment before. I have my own stethoscope in the back right now. And I always go to my mom and Dr. Trin's clinics, and I'm always there pretty much.
You're there. So obviously, and how old are you, 10 years old?
10. I go to school at Middle Park Elementary.
Middle Park Elementary. And do the other kids call you Dr. Martinez, kiddingly or seriously?
Not really.
Not really. Do they all know that you love medicine? Nobody?
I told them.
You never told them. Oh, well, doctor, you got to spread the word here. That's what Dr. Trinh will tell you. In today's world, you can't be quiet about what you're interested in.
Yeah, but the world will know now your interests and your degree and your
wisdom and all that.
So, Dr. Martinez, I know you've been inside exam rooms and you have your stethoscopes and things of that sort. How did you deal with COVID the last few years?
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Pretty scary. I had to stay home. I had to go on Zoom all the time for class, and I was always worried about getting sick, and it was terrifying.
We're both glad you made it through.
What do you think that does to kids your age? I never think about COVID in kids. I think about COVID in older people like me. We were scared of COVID too. Were kids scared about COVID?
Yes, lots of them.
Wow.
Always on the lookout for when someone got sick. They'd make sure they were 6 feet away. Well,
and what do you think that does to all these kids? Will they remember this for a long time? Will they stay scared, or has it made them stronger? What do you think?
I think it actually made them stronger, so the next time maybe if something like that ever happens again, they know what to do and deal with it.
That's a good point. What do you think, Dr. Trinh? Is there a silver lining to this? Those that didn't get sick, it makes them stronger?
Well, I guess if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
I guess I would say.
Isn't there a saying about that?
It does, right? Exactly.
Yeah. And so I can tell that Dr. Martinez got stronger with that.
We hope a once-in-a-lifetime event. We hope it doesn't keep coming back in different forms. It might, like the flu or what others, might be something we live with. Dr. Trinh can talk about that today. But I'm wondering, did you take advantage of this opportunity to study a disease that none of us have ever seen before? Did you spend a lot of time in doctors' offices? Did you ask a lot of questions? Did you learn anything? Yeah.
I did learn a few things.
What'd you learn?
About all the variants and how they mutate into different ones and stuff.
Can I stop you for 1 second, doctor, here? You're 10 years old. When I was 10, I don't think I used the word mutant or variants ever in my vocabulary. You already impressed me that you're very casually aware of these kinds of things. Do you think most kids in your class have that kind of, are they that interested and aware, or are they just playing video games?
Just playing video games.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, you're 10, right?
I know. How dare they play video games while you're out trying to solve world issues here? There's more issues to deal with in a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do you play video games, Dr. Martinez?
Sometimes, but not all the time.
What's your go-to game? If I got to give you one game to play, what do you like to play?
I really don't know, actually, because I'm rarely on.
Because I have an 8-year-old grandson. He's hooked on video games like everybody his age, and he loves Roblox. That's what he plays all the time. Roblox has lots of games in it, but they all look like little For those who've never played it, it all looks like Legoland. There's millions of games in that world, and he just loves to wander around and play all these different games.
Well, I have an Xbox and a Nintendo Switch, so it's really hard to go through all of them because, like, one's in the other room, one's out here. My favorite, the Xbox, pretty much. My favorite game.
My other grandson likes that, and he has a Nintendo Switch as well, and he likes playing Super Smash Brothers.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's one of the popular games out there. He loves that, goes online and competes and everything. So in a world where most kids are in the metaverse that Dr. Trin's always trying to get us to join, this virtual world where people go and hang out, maybe they have a little avatar, picture of themselves, maybe they have wings, maybe they have superpowers, all these things. What keeps you grounded in the real world here? Why not just go the heck with it? Somebody will figure it out. I'm going to go play Smash Brothers.
Well, I think it's important because if another disease comes, all of these kids who are now older, they might still want to play video games and stuff, and they won't want to try to stop the new disease that might happen.
Good point.
What do you think, Dr. Trin? Why are some kids like Dr. Martinez firmly planted in the real world, very interested in what's really going on around them, and so many other kids are just in a fantasy world?
Well, it's why Dr. Martinez is Dr. Martinez.
Exactly.
Not just Martinez.
That's
If
right.
he was just Martinez, he'd be playing video games all day. But the fact that he's Dr. Martinez, he's really concerned about these issues face us today.
Well,
With
when
that.
Dr. Trin was 10 years old, was he interested in the world around him?
I was playing marbles. I think I lost a few marbles on the way.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a bad
maybe.
joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So-
Dr. Martinez, what is your favorite subject in school?
Yeah.
Math.
Math?
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa. Do you use a calculator or do you have to do it in your mind?
I do it in my mind or write it down on a piece of paper.
That's old school. They say many kids today won't really understand mathematics because they never have to make the calculations. They never have to go through and figure it out. They just push buttons. They're going to memorize how to push buttons. They may not really understand what they're doing. What do you think, Dr. Trin, or Dr. Martinez? Why do it old school? Why write it out on a piece of paper?
Well, I think a piece of paper would make it more easy and make it you do it faster, like you can do it like that because you already know, like, just write it down and stuff and you get the answer.
I agree. What do you think, Dr. Trin? Are we raising a bunch of key pushers, or do they
Yeah.
really understand what they're doing? Do they just memorize the sequence? You ask me a question, boop, 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 there's the answer. Did they really understand what the computer was doing for them?
The problem with relying on all this technology is that when the internet goes out or when you're out of battery in your device, you're like
Done.
done. Can't use your brain because it's dependent on the calculator or on the internet, right? You're done. So that's why Dr. Martinez uses his brain instead.
How did you meet Dr. Martinez, Dr. Trin? At a doctor's conference?
Yes, I often come to Dr. Martinez and ask his advice on different things.
He's your consulting physician here?
Yeah. Yes, I consult with Dr. Martinez on different things, and he gives me really good advice.
Does he? Okay. What's the best advice he gave you?
Dr. Martinez, what are some advices that you can give us today just for our general health? What do you
Life and general health. Yeah. What? Eat better, sleep more. What's your advice?
Sleep more. That will definitely help.
Yeah.
He's so right, because the lack of sleep increases the risk of Alzheimer's. And the lack of sleep increases the risk for heart disease. And the lack of sleep increases the risk for just not feeling good during the day or feeling groggy, right? Kind of like what I feel all day.
Well, that's because you lost a couple marbles along the way. Dr. Martinez probably has never played with marbles and therefore never lost any.
Actually, I have.
Have you lost any marbles?
No.
No.
Good.
Okay.
You kept all your marbles.
All right. So, Dr. Martinez, when did you first decide, hey, I'm going to be a doctor? I'm interested in this. You're only 10. Are you going to be a firefighter next year or an airline pilot the year after that?
I think I'm going to just stick to this because I've been like doing doctor stuff actually since I was like 1.
Wow. Since you were 1.
Wow.
That's great. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. If you've been doing doctor stuff since you were 1, you have 9 years of doctor experience.
Training.
That's pretty good. That's the equivalent of going through medical school today. It's not easy.
So can I make the obvious joke here that maybe this is a dated joke now here, but there used to be a TV show called Doogie Howser, and it was a young doctor. I think he was like supposed to be a teenager or something, who was some super smart kid who went through medical school and came out the other side as a doctor at a really early age. Is that you? You're going to be Doogie Howser? Are you going to skip a couple of grades and go right to med school here?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're too old for Dr. Martinez to know Doogie Howser.
Yeah, I just started down that path and I thought, what am I talking about? I'm talking about a TV show nobody remembers anymore, but it was on for a long time here.
Yeah. Dr. Martinez, there are many people who are hungry in the world. World hunger is a big issue we have to address. What are your thoughts on that?
I really think that's sad. I think they should have homes and have food to eat and stuff.
Yeah, they should at least have homes, right? Food to eat. What can we do to help them have homes or food to eat when they don't have it?
We could build them homes that they don't have to pay for, that they could just like live in there for their lives and until they get jobs, and then buy real houses all across the world.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense to me with that. And what do you think about all the wars going around in the world, Dr. Martinez? There's always fighting. There's Russia fighting Ukraine, and we have all these wars. Why are there wars? Why do people fight, Dr. Martinez?
I think they actually fight for power, and I don't think they should fight for power. I don't think anyone should be fighting.
Yeah, that's a really good point, fighting for power. We all fight for power every day, and when that happens, society just goes downhill, right?
Yes.
There's enough to share rather than fighting for power. Absolutely.
Do you ever see kids fighting at school?
Yes, all the time.
All the time.
Really?
And what do they fight over at school? Where this kids learn to fight, learn to be bullies, learn to be tough on people? What are they fighting over? Lunch or not marbles anymore, but whatever. What do they fight over?
I've never gotten into really one of those fights before, but I've seen lots of people fight, and I don't know why.
Yeah, but you haven't had a fight, right?
No.
That's good.
What about you, Dr. Trim? Were you a fighter or a lover?
Pass.
Pass. Okay. I was not a fighter. I'm with Dr. Martinez. I didn't understand why kids would get in fights and what they were fighting over nothing. And they'd get all wound up and start wrestling and punching each other. And I thought, what are you fighting over? What do you get out of fighting other than a bloody nose?
Yeah, I don't get it. Dr. Martinez, what do you like for school lunch? Are there specific types of food during school lunch that's your favorite?
And do you eat a healthy brain diet?
Actually, none of the food in the cafeteria is good, because actually every single person besides like 3 persons, so we did this like 5-paragraph thing about what we want to change, and most of the class wrote about better cafeteria food, because some people had stale milk, soggy pizza, and it was crazy. So I don't think I'm ever going to go from the cafeteria.
And do you eat healthy, Dr. Martinez? You're at the age when most kids don't eat healthy. It's all pizza and hot dogs and chips and soda. This is the worst eating of your life here. Do you eat lots of fruits and vegetables?
Yes, I do. But also, I don't actually drink soda.
Wow.
Oh,
my
wow.
goodness. Dr. Martinez, my hat's off to you here. I was addicted to soda, Coca-Cola, and things like that when I was your age.
Yeah. If you drink too much, you end up being a talk show host. Yeah,
Could be.
right.
But, I mean, that's unusual, Dr. Trin. Isn't that the problem with so many kids?
Mhm.
Some of the other kids in Dr. Martinez's class here, I'll bet more kids are overweight, they're diabetic, and it's all directly related to this sugar and fast food diet that they shove at them at that age.
Yes, that's right. What grade are you in, Dr. Fourth grade. Wow. How does 4th grade compare to 3rd grade?
Not that good.
Not that good.
Really?
Oh. Why?
Really?
I think 3rd grade was a lot better because I had a very nice teacher. We learned about all these holidays from different cultures, and we got to read a lot of books, and the math was super intriguing and exciting. But now in 4th grade, everyone in my class is like cuckoo.
Cuckoo. So they went through a cuckoo phase. You know, there are other phases coming like that, like when you turn 16 and some other things here. Everybody says cuckoo. All of a sudden, kids start acting crazy here.
Oh, wow.
There's a couple
Yes.
more coming. So what do you do in a cuckoo world? How do you keep sane? How do you keep it together?
I just read. Immediately as I start reading, everything around me just goes quiet, and I just keep on reading and stuff until I'm first on chapter 15, and then I read until like chapter 50. That's what happened to me once.
And what do you read?
There's this one book called Pax. It's about this fox that this kid had owned, and he had to give him away because war was coming to his
Oh, my goodness.
country.
Okay.
Wow.
I was reading comic books. That's what I read at 10.
Yeah, I read a magazine. It's a medical journal, maybe. It's called Mad Magazine.
Mad. Do they even make Mad? They must still make Mad.
I do. I still read it at Barnes & Noble. I read Mad Magazine. That's my medical journal.
That's your medical journal.
Yeah, Spy versus Spy.
Oh, boy, I used to love Spy versus Spy, but you got to be really know it. Have you ever read Mad Magazine, Dr. Martinez? No, you haven't read Mad Magazine. It's a silly, it's like it makes fun of everything. And everything it's for people who are cuckoo. It's about a cuckoo world, yeah.
Dr. Martinez, what do you normally do after school? What's your routine like?
Math and reading, spelling, and then just sitting around, lounging on the couch, resting.
Yeah, after that busy thing, you got to rest your brain here. You don't get tired doing all that. So where is the time for all the other kids stuff here? Playing baseball and riding your bike. I don't know. Does anybody ride a bike anymore? Probably not. E-bike.
I play the cello.
You play the cello. Oh, my goodness. Dr. Martinez. I see why they call you Dr. Martinez. You're an old soul. You know what an old soul is? An older person in a young person's body here. You are an old soul.
Dr. Martinez, do you have the cello with you? Is it somewhere close by?
Yes.
Can we hear you play it?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I know your assistant, your nurse is going to bring the cello.
Your nurse. That's what we call the person off the screen. That's his assistant? Is that what?
Yeah, your assistant's going to bring you the cello so we can hear you play the cello, Dr. Martinez.
Okay, well, how long have you been playing, Dr. Martinez?
He's
A
getting
few months, like since August or September.
That's a long time. That's almost as long as med school.
Playing the cello is like playing the violin. It's hard. My image of learning the cello is lots of time making squeaky noises and nothing comes out. Pushing
Actually,
the
when I
bow.
first started playing, I was a lot better than any of the other students.
Why am I not surprised?
Look at that cello. That's huge. That's bigger than you almost.
No, I'm just lifting it off.
Okay, it just looks big. That cello looks huge, Dr. Martinez.
Thank you.
Well, then it would be a bass. It wouldn't be a cello. It would get that big.
Like, what do you call it when you're like, you have that little pick thing? Is that called a pick when you like go like this to a guitar?
Cellos don't use that.
Cellos don't play
okay.
with a pick. They don't play like a guitar.
Sorry.
There is some plucking you can do, but it's mostly the string. Gotta be
I'm not
string.
used to it. I
Like
just heard there's a thing called pick.
That's only if you're a guitar player. They don't use picks on any other stringed instrument,
well,
I don't think.
The only picking I can do is I can pick my nose. That's about it. All right, we're ready for you.
All right, here we go. What are you going to play for us?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Oh, good.
That's one we all know. All right, go. Here we go. Sound dropped out for a second here. We're losing it. For some reason, we're not hearing it. Unfortunately, we're not hearing it. You tell your assistant something's wrong with the phone connection there. Can you hear it, Dr. Trinh? I can't hear it.
Okay, play again.
Hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear when you say the voice, but somehow the music, when you started it, completely cut out.
Go for it.
For some reason, it's still cutting out. The minute he starts playing, it stops.
Probably the music.
Yeah, it's probably a little too low.
Yeah, but whatever it is, it's not being picked up here. Well, thank you for that. We'll have to wait for your next cello concerto here, or your Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star debut here with the Orange Pacific Symphony here.
Wait, try it again. I want to hear it again.
Yeah, I can't explain it, but the minute he starts playing, it stops here. But I can hear the melody, and then it stops for some reason. Well,
That's okay.
We'll leave it there because I can't hear any of it. So
Yeah, we heard a little bit of the beginning. It was very good, Dr. Martinez.
thank you. I'm very impressed at the cello.
Yeah.
I was not trying to play the cello at 8. I was not trying to play anything at 8 or 10.
Well, that's because you're 8 and he's 10.
Yeah, right, exactly. I wasn't as mature as Dr. Martinez. Tell me about your friends at school here. What do they do and what do you do with them?
Well, they do play because my entire class, most of us play an instrument, but some of them are vocals. The most played instrument so far in our class is the violin, but the cellos are the only ones who get their own room to place their cellos in.
It's a big
That's
room,
special.
big thing. What school do you go to? Tell me again.
Meadow Park Elementary.
Wow. Well, my hat's off to Meadow Park Elementary that has convinced a lot of kids, any kids, to play the cello and the violin at age 10.
Well, and the viola as well.
Well, the viola in between. You got the big cello and the little violins, and then the viola, the big kind of violin in between here.
Dr. Martinez, have you ever been to like a concert orchestra?
I was in one, but it was only for the fourth grade parents.
I see.
Oh, wow.
We
Tell
should-
us about that experience.
Yeah, what was it like to play with other kids in it? Because that's the magic of music, isn't just playing by yourself. It's when you play in a room. I did play in a band when I was little, not that little. And
I actually got to introduce one of the songs. So each 4 people got to introduce our 4 songs. One of them, for some reason, I don't know who named these, but I think it was a music teacher because their names just sound weird except for 2 or 3 of them because 3 of them are actually known worldwide.
Wow.
There was Giants' Footsteps and Trolls, Orcs, and Goblins, and
Okay.
I don't know why she named them that. But then we played Mary Had a Little Lamb, Took a Little Star, and Jingle Bells. I got to introduce Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I spoke in front of like 70 or maybe even 100 parents.
Wow, that's a lot of parents. Were you nervous? Were you scared or not really?
Kind of.
A little bit? Yeah. Well, that's very impressive. We would love to hear one of your songs and one day. Maybe you could like record it for us sometime so we can play it.
Wait, Mom, do you think you can maybe pull up the share screen?
No.
Wait. Alright.
Wait, your assistant is unwilling to assist you?
Yeah.
You should just fire her. Get a different assistant.
yeah, maybe not.
He
Maybe
has to live with me.
Oh, that's true.
that's true.
You don't have many options.
And she's supporting you through medical school, so maybe you got to be nice to her here.
Yeah.
I'll be in debt for the rest of my life.
It's not the truth. But Dr. Martinez will make it all worthwhile here.
That's right. He's already got 9 years of experience. He started when he was 1, right? That's amazing. So, Dr. Martinez, what's your favorite sport?
I like running, but I also like soccer. I've only played for like a few months because the season got canceled for some reason.
Oh,
And then I
no.
never got to get back to soccer. So really, I don't play any sports really, but I do recommend you should, and I probably am going to play soccer once again.
So there you go. That's our first recommendation from our medical expert here today. Play sports.
Yes, play sports. Have you heard about the World Cup?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Do you watch it?
Yes, I watched it.
What do you think? Did you have a team that you like? Or
Argentina.
Argentina. Yes. Did Argentina win the World Cup or they almost won the World Cup?
They did win.
They did.
I
Yeah.
watched it on my TV while I was sitting in the couch right there. Well, you guys can't see it, but
How about football? You like football?
I was never really interested. People do recommend it to me, so I think I'll recommend it to other people. But could get you serious injuries like concussion, but so I think you should just be careful. So.
Yeah, right. What do you know about concussions, Dr. Martinez? Can you tell kids about concussions?
They can affect your brain a lot.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And more of them.
What is a concussion
Oh.
and how do you get it?
It's an injury when you like hit your head so hard.
Yeah.
Wow. That's right. And if you hit your head a lot, it can hurt your brain, right?
Yes.
Brain rattles around in there, literally, I think it
It
does.
hurts your brain structure.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, it does hurt your brain structure, Dr. Martinez.
I wonder, Dr. Trinh and Dr. Martinez, on a very serious note, when I was a kid, very few people played soccer. I grew up in the Midwest. Everybody played baseball in the summer and football in the winter. And I was crazy about, I didn't really play other than fooling around, but everybody loved football. I don't know many parents that put their kids into football anymore. Not because they don't love football, because they're worried about concussions.
That's a good point.
I wonder how that's going to affect the sport going forward. They've tried to make it safer. They've tried to come up with tons of rules so people don't get hurt as often. But I wonder if kids are staying away from football, and 10, 20 years from now, you're going to see less football players. What do you think?
Yeah, Dr. Martinez agrees.
Yeah. So how about soccer, though? Soccer, you can get your head hurt. You got to bounce, hit the ball with your head and everything here. That's part of the game. No helmet.
I'm actually going to be playing in the Junior Olympics in Irvine.
Whoa.
Whoa.
The Junior Olympics.
That sounds impressive. What are you going to be playing?
Mostly track and field.
Oh, you like running?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that earlier. He's a runner. We had somebody on a show the other day. Maybe we could have him on Dr. Trinch. He might find this interesting. I hadn't thought about this. He is an ultra runner. I don't know if either of you know what that is. They run a minimum of 100-mile races. 100. It takes a day or so. They run for 24 hours. They stop along the way, rest a little bit, and they keep running. 100-mile runs.
Wow.
I've heard of them.
Have you? Yeah, it's amazing what these people can do. And there are cultures around the world. You said you like different people and different cultures. I believe there's a culture in the rural mountains of Mexico, an indigenous tribe. I know there's one in somewhere in Africa, Kenya or something, because they have to cover long distances across the hilltops and the mountains, and that they don't have cars and everything else, so they learn at a very early age to run so they can move from mountain to mountain, from village to village, and they grow up running extreme. They train their body to run really long runs on a regular basis.
Wow.
And that's what these ultra runners kind of try and do. They'll run 100 miles runs.
Wow. I can drive 100 miles.
Yeah, most people, if you run 5 miles or a 5K marathon or something, that's an amazing feat for most people. They run 100 miles.
How much running do you do, Dr. Martinez? How often do you run?
Kind of often.
Like every
Sometimes.
day or every other day?
Actually, technically every day because I'm always running at school because I have to get to one part of the school, go back, and run to the other part of the school.
Can't waste time if you're Dr. Martinez. He's on a schedule here. He's got a lot to accomplish, and he's already used up 10 years, so he's got to get going. Are you in a race to get somewhere, Dr. Martinez? Are you in a race with time? Do you feel like, I don't have enough time. I got a million things I want to do.
Yeah, I feel like I don't have enough time because every day I have to bring my instrument to the music room, which is in the very back of the school, so I have to run around because sometimes my school starts at 8:10, but I just run. I sometimes get there at like 8 o'clock, and then I'm running to the back of the school, and it's already like 8:05. So when I get to the music room, I'm running back, and then the bell rings, and I'm freaking out. So I start running to my line, and I'm just terrified.
That's amazing.
He's in a race with time here. What did you do when COVID shut school down, Dr. Martinez? What was that like?
I just went on to Zoom. COVID started right as first grade was ending.
Wow.
So when I went into second grade, it was all virtual for the entire year. And when I finally got into third grade, I felt I had a fresh start.
Oh, a fresh start is good. Wow. You felt like you lost some of your schooling opportunity because of COVID, huh?
Yes, a lot.
That's okay. You're going to catch up on that, right? That's right. Wow. So, Dr. Martinez, there's a lot of things have gone up in price lately. We call that inflation, you know?
Yes.
Everything's gone up. Like, what happened? Why did things go up in price? Do you know why things were so costly?
Well, I think it could be that they were running out of supplies to make those things.
That's a good point. Like a supply chain problem.
Yeah.
And how do you think we can fix that?
I don't think we really need all that stuff because we're just wasting things on that stuff where we could make things like that except with using less materials so we have more materials in store for something that's going to happen later in the future.
Can we quote you on that? Because that's wisdom. We don't need all that stuff. That's not what everybody, my grandson watches YouTube and they constantly watch influencers. He watches people opening presents or doing things or buying things. And every time he watches it, he turns to me and he says, I got to have that. I want that. I want that game. I want that sneaker. I want that toy. And you're saying we don't need all that?
Yes.
There it is. Would you talk to my grandson? Tell him he doesn't need all that? Okay. All right. I'm
Great.
going to bring him
Yeah,
in for a consultation here. I'm going to bring him in for a visit.
Consultation with Dr. Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah. We live on too much stuff.
Yes. Oh, too much stuff.
Yeah. And that's a very good point, Dr. Martinez, with that. Are you looking forward to a summer vacation or summer break? Yeah.
I wouldn't think so because he wants to be in school. He wants to learn. Why take a break? I wonder, why do kids have to take a 3-month break, Dr. Martinez? Why not? I don't get a break from my job once a year or something. I don't get 3 months off. Why do kids need 3 months off?
Well, I think it could be to rest their minds for a few months, and once they get back to school, they've got a fresh start and they're ready to learn more.
Okay.
Wow. That's
Also gives teachers breaks.
Do you know where that started, Dr. Martinez? Do you know when we first started? I don't know if Dr. Trinh knows. We started because back in a long time ago, kids needed to go work on the farm during the summer. That's when they had to harvest the crops. They had to plant the crops in the spring, and then they had to work the crops in the summer, and then they had to bring the crops in, and then they could go back to school. So it wasn't about taking a break or relaxing. It was about helping the farm and working the farm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why do we take a break in spring break? Because that's when the crops need to go in. And then you got to work the field. You got to water it. You got to plow it. You got to do whatever you do to keep the crops growing. And then by the end of the summer, the corn and the wheat and everything, you have to harvest it in the fall, the winter harvest. And that's where most people lived on a farm. So they needed the kids. They could only send the kids to school during the winter when you're eating off whatever you've stored.
Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Martinez, would you like to go work on the farm in the summer?
No.
No.
Have you ever been to a farm?
No, actually.
Really?
You don't know, see? Has Dr. Trinh ever been to a farm?
I live in the farmhouse.
You live in a fun house, I think, sometimes here.
Yeah, I think there's a farm somewhere close by to you, Dr. Martinez. It's called
Naka Farms.
Yes.
Tanaka Farms is one a very famous when Orange County was nothing but farms, not that long ago.
Yeah.
Within my lifetime.
Have you been to Tanaka Farms?
Many times.
Really? Tell us about that experience.
It's pretty cool. Tanaka Farms is right behind a very popular hiking place in Irvine called Quail Hill. And I've been there before, and I've seen baby coyotes jumping in the grass before.
Wow. There you go.
Were you scared?
No,
Sounds
I don't
scary.
think people should be scared of coyotes except for pets. They shouldn't kill them off. They're just nature, so you shouldn't kill them, even though there was this one thing that happened in Irvine once where a boy got dragged by a coyote. It wasn't this news one, that was somewhere else, but it was just playing with the kid, and they killed it. And I don't think they should have killed it. It was just playing with little kids.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Dr. Martinez. I think too many people are too worried about coyotes. Most coyotes, they'll kill your cat, but they won't kill you. They're not looking for something that big.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about a mountain lion? They have mountain lions, a few left around here.
Yeah. Near me, I heard that they moved them somewhere up in the mountains. They used to be around, but they moved them away because people were reporting them in areas, and people are still reporting them around this area today.
Yeah, I think they've taken most of them out because here's a fancy word for you, encroached. You know what encroached means? Encroached. We've moved into their area.
Yeah.
And they need a lot of area. They can't just live in a small space. They got to roam around. They got to walk around. They can't just stay put.
Invading their home. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. We're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
over their space, pushing them out. So what about, do you go out into nature? I wonder sometimes if other kids your age spend all their time indoors and never get outdoors anymore. We're so caught up in indoors, all these screens, the Nintendo Switch, your iPhone, your maybe still TV and all this stuff on computers. I always dragging my grandson outside, and he rolls his eyes and he says, really, what do we have to go outside for? Because there's birds and frogs. I don't care. And then I show him some of this stuff. We have a creek near there's a canyon behind our house. When we go down, there's a creek down there, and we catch tadpoles. Have you ever caught a tadpole, a little baby frog?
Nope, never.
See, I don't think most kids, I grew up in that kind of world where we went out in the woods all the time, and we caught frogs, we caught turtles, we caught snakes. We saw all this stuff. Even though it's around, I don't think most kids today get outside to see it.
Yeah. I've been fishing before.
There you go. See, fishing. Going down to the fishing hole. Andy Griffith, when I grew up as a kid, taking his son down to the fishing hole.
Well, I don't have a fishing hole near my house, so my uncle just takes me fishing on his boat.
There you go, out into the ocean somewhere, right?
Yes, he's a master fisher. Once he was with a friend, and a great white shark actually bumped into his boat.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
He's a serious fisherman then. And he's a master. He's not just a weekend, I go out and throw a pole in the water here.
He's won awards, actually.
Wow.
Wow. You guys are making me hungry.
Well, I took my grandson once. We went down in the creek in the spring when the tadpoles are born. You know what a tadpole is? They swim around, look like a fish, and then all of a sudden, somewhere along the way, they lose their tail and they grow their legs and they hop out of the water and become a frog. And he never had seen that before, and we caught him. There's tons of them in the little creek. And he was so amazed. And then the next weekend I saw him, I said, "Did you go tell your friends about tadpoles?" He said, "Grandpa, nobody wants to see tadpoles. You do, but no."
Wow. Dr. Martinez, is there a God?
Oh,
That's a hard one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you think? You're only 10. Can you think about way off in the future or way off in other worlds here? Is there something more to life than just this?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Could be.
Have you heard of Buddha?
Yes.
Well, have you heard of Jesus?
Yes.
Or Muhammad or all these other people?
Yes.
If
Okay.
Buddha and Jesus had to fight, who do you think will win?
First of all, they wouldn't because they're both peaceniks.
They're both peaceful.
Never
That's
fight.
right.
You're talking about two people that would never fight.
Yeah, they never fight. Yeah.
They would share a meal.
They'd share a
They'll
meal.
share a meal.
So here's something for you since you want to ask Dr. Martinez tough questions. Dr. Trin's mother is a Buddhist nun. Do you know what a nun is? I'm a Catholic, so I know it. I grew up with nuns, but they're also Buddhist nuns. Do you know what a nun is? Do you know what a woman is who calls herself a nun? You ever seen a nun?
I think I haven't.
They wear an outfit, covers most of their body, and they spend their whole life praying and talking to God and helping people. They don't get married anymore. They don't have kids. They live with a bunch of other nuns in a monastery. They live alone, and all they do, and they swear to be poor. They give up everything. They have nothing, and they all live together and share food, and their only thought is praying to God and helping other people. What do you think of that?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
It's amazing in today's world. Talk about giving up everything.
Yeah. I had to give up some toys and stuff too when I was young.
Did you? Why did you have to give up toys? Because your mother made you, or just because it was a tough time? Or
It was because I couldn't find them.
oh. How many toys have you got, Dr. Martinez? I'm amazed at how many toys kids have today. I had like 10 toys, and I played with them over and over again. People have 10,000 toys now, or it seems like.
Not a,
You got lots of toys?
not a lot.
Yes, I have a lot. It's
And-
right next to me.
A whole wall filled with them. And what kinds of toys do you have? My grandson likes plushies, little animals, or do you have
Legos.
trucks, or what? Play-Doh?
Legos.
Legos.
Legos. My
I
grandson
have one
loves
right
Legos.
next.
Do you want the small Legos or the big Lego pieces?
Big Legos.
Oh, yeah. I like the big Legos.
I have
Like-
one right next to me.
Have you
Yeah.
been to Legoland?
No, I have not.
Oh,
Really?
come on. Dr. Trin, you got to take him to a professional conference, a medical conference down at Legoland. There you go. That's the Star Wars. I forgot what they call that little spacecraft. Yeah.
That's the TIE fighter. Yeah, that's the TIE fighter.
TIE fighters are different than nothing.
Yeah.
You actually know what that's called, Dr. Trin? I don't even know what that fighter is
Wait,
called.
that's not a TIE fighter?
It is, but it's a Sith TIE fighter.
It's the
It's a
Sith,
Sith.
the Lord of the Sith, the
Ah,
Dark
the
Lord of the Sith. Yeah, right.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. There you go.
Is he a Sith?
He was a Sith. Yeah, he was the Dark Lord.
Yeah. Who do
No,
you?
actually, Emperor Palpatine was.
Emperor Palpatine. Yes, he's definitely the worst. Wait, is he the worst or should he be a hero?
Don't go down that rabbit hole. We're the strange Star Wars universe. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Is he
Dark side.
The dark
the
side?
dark side? Yeah.
Wow. Do you like Luke Skywalker?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like Emperor Palpatine?
Yes. I like any character.
How about the Mandalorian?
I love it.
Yeah.
Mandalorian, awesome.
Wow.
We had the president of Disney. I'll give a little plug for one of our other shows. Ken Potrock was on the other day on the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and he says he's seen it, the new Mandalorian is amazing.
I'm excited.
When is it coming out?
March for
Pretty soon,
No,
yeah.
Where's I've been waiting forever for it to come out.
Yeah, they finally have the new trailer, but he saw it because he's the president of Disneyland. He got to see it, and he got to see where they make it. That's a story in that, how they make it in a very special room. It's not like a big soundstage. It has video walls all around it, so they don't have to build sets. Pretty amazing what they do.
Dr. Martinez, would you like to meet the president of Disney?
Yes, I would love to.
Can you arrange that, Paul?
I'll put that on my schedule here. I have his email. I don't know if he'll answer, but yeah, he's a really cool guy. I got to tell you, he probably would get a kick out of meeting you.
Yeah, maybe we can hook you up with the president of Disney.
I'm excited.
Disneyland, yeah, right.
No guarantee. We don't know if it can happen, but we'll try.
If you were around the studio the day, we would have introduced you to him. Go check out the interview on OC Talk Radio. He's really a pretty cool, a really down-to-earth guy. You know where he started? This is kind of give you a little inspiration here. His family used to own a bakery, a little bakery, outside of Yankee Stadium. And as a kid, your age, he spent time putting the boxes together and all the others, helping. He said everybody had to work in the bakery, even when you were 5, 6, 7 years old. So that's where he learned to work. That's where he learned to deal with people, as everybody came in all the time to get all the donuts and cakes and cookies and all the stuff here. And from that little beginning, he rose up, and then he got a job in a big ad agency, and he started working in big groups. And I still like that guy, the little kid working in his parents' bakery.
And he became the president
of Disneyland. Yeah.
Disneyland.
He runs the whole place.
So Dr. Martinez, if he can do that, we know you can be the president of something really big.
Yeah,
bigger
hospital maybe or something or whatever.
Yeah, even bigger than that. Maybe you can own like Disney World or something. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be really big. Have you been, I'm assuming you've been to Disneyland, Dr. Martinez?
I've been to Disneyland, but I've never been to Disney World.
Disney World's even bigger because it's all over the place here, yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite ride at Disneyland?
Star Wars, when I pilot the Millennium Falcon.
So that whole Star Wars world, I forget what they call the park. Is it just called Star Wars or whatever?
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. That's what I was trying to remember. Exactly.
So Dr. Martinez, between a Sith TIE fighter and an X-Wing fighter, who do you think will win?
X-Wing, because they're more fast and...
The one the Mandalorian flies is pretty fast. That's supposed to be super fast, right? He has some special X-Wing fighter.
In the new season 3 trailer, yes, but his old ship got blown up.
It did, okay. And what do you think about the baby?
Baby Yoda?
Everybody thought he looked like a baby Yoda, but his real name is Grogu. Is he going to develop his powers and help the Mandalorian? Right.
Wow.
We weren't sure if he was going to do that or not here.
Yeah.
We have a technical question away from Star Wars. We'll end with this. One of Dr. Trin's friends asked, hello, Dr. Martinez, in your practice, do you ever use remote patient monitoring? If not, Dr. Trin can recommend a good remote patient monitoring system that he happens to manufacture. You ever use telehealth? You ever talk to people over Zoom and everything? You help them out that way and give them advice?
Yep, I have.
Well, that's remote patient monitoring. So the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Martin uses it.
Yeah. Well, of course, he's on the cutting edge here. He's not an old-fashioned doctor here. Have you got a little bag? Do doctors still get little black bags where they put their stethoscope and everything else? Have you got a little...
Yeah, where can you put your stethoscope, Dr. Martinez?
Backpack. Sometimes.
Backpack. See, that's the modern black bag. Every doctor used to have a black bag, and inside they had... I don't know, what else was in the black bag, Dr. Trin, other than the stethoscope and maybe a tongue depressor? What is in that magic black bag?
Credit card thing for your copay.
See, that's the most important thing. Right?
Yeah, swiper.
Little card reader.
Phone now.
What's
you can do it
that?
on your phone now, he says. You don't need it.
Oh, yeah. See? You're advanced. You can do it on your phone. I got to do the credit card thing for copay.
Yeah.
So you're pretty good there, Dr. Martinez.
Very, very important to know how you're going to get paid out of all this here. Well, last thoughts, Dr. Martinez. Anything else you want to tell us? I'm very impressed with you as a young man. We too often think of kids as lazy and no good, and they're not working hard enough. You seem to be the kind of kid that Dr. Trin brings on this show all the time. I fully expect that you're going to find a cure for cancer at 12.
You got 2 years to find the cure for cancer.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 years. How much time do you need?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
You can go to ChatGTP and look for the cure for cancer. Little tip.
Should he sign up for the metaverse for MD Dow? I think he'd be a good candidate to be an MD Dow, this community. You ever heard of that? Dr. Trin's building an online, kind of like a game, an online world where you can meet doctors and talk to patients and learn about stuff. You should sign up for MD Dow, DAO.
Well, better yet, you should be one of our advisors.
Well, clear for the kids. You could do health talks with Dr. Martinez for kids.
I like that.
Yeah.
Would you like to do that sometime, Dr. Martinez?
Yes, I'd love to.
Yeah, we will bring some other kids on and you can interview them. How does that sound?
All right.
And bring them advice and give them ideas, because I don't think kids think about health at all.
Better yet, we'll bring some adults on and you can interview them.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting, because he'd just look at me and say, why do you do that? Why do we need that? Why do you have to have that much stuff?
Yeah. Dr. Martinez, any last words of wisdom for us before we end the show today?
Do lots of exercise.
Great. Thank you. What
And
else?
eat healthy.
Eat healthy and exercise.
Play the cello.
It helps with your posture, actually.
Helps with your posture. Wow. I need help with my posture.
How about be nice to your parents? Nah, forget it. You don't need that.
He's notably silent on that.
I was expecting that one in the group here. Honor your father and your mother. Be nice to your mom and dad. Help them out. I thought that was the advice that was coming here, but
Well, yeah, also that.
well, thank your assistant for bringing you on today here. It's a rare pleasure to meet somebody who's as wise and accomplished as you are at such an early age.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Martinez. You have a great
Thank you for
day.
having me.
You have to go to school now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Have a
well,
good day at school, Dr. Martinez.
Tell them you were on the radio today here.
I will.
Okay.
Have a great day.
All right.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Take us out, Dr. Trin.
All right, guys. Great session with Dr. Martinez. We'll have him on again so he can interview other people, other guests, and give us and share more wisdom for us.
Okay. The wisdom of out of the mouth of babes comes the most amazing things here. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Words of wisdom from one so young. Why do we need all this stuff? Wow. There's some words to think about. On this week's Health Talks with Dr. Trin and his consulting physician, 10-year-old Dr. Martinez, right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.